You know that TikTok trend where people confess things and everyone pretends to be emotionally mature? Yeah, that trend ruined my life and then accidentally helped me destroy theirs. Because when my best friend said, "We listen and we don't judge," I didn't know what she really meant was, "We listen, while you finally realize we never liked you." So I met Maya in college. She sat next to me in our first lecture, borrowed a pen, and never gave it back. That should have been my first red flag. She laughed at my jokes a second too late, complimented me a little too loudly, and copied my notes word for word. But I thought nothing of it. Because friends do that, right? She started dressing like me, talking like me, posting captions I'd already used, sometimes the same day. If I dyed my hair, she felt inspired. If I changed my style, she finally found herself. If I had a new interest, she suddenly had a deep lifelong passion for it. People joked that she was my shadow. I laughed too, because I thought, imitation is flattery. Turns out, it's also rehearsal. Then there was Ethan, my boyfriend. Soft-spoken, emotionally intelligent, raised by a single mom who constantly reminded everyone how we don't raise cheaters in this house. He cried during movies, helped old ladies with groceries, said things like, "I could never hurt you." I know what betrayal does to a family. His father had cheated and disappeared when he was young. Ethan swore he was nothing like him. Life is hilarious that way. Our friend group was tight. Group chats, brunches, inside jokes. I didn't notice the glances, the whispers, the way conversations stopped when I walked in. Because why would I? I was the planner, the emotional support, the one who remembered birthdays and paid deposits on trips. Apparently, I was also the punchline. One night, Maya suggested we film a TikTok. Let's do We Listen and We Don't Judge. It'll be fun. Fun. That word should be illegal. We sat in a circle. Phones recording. Everyone smiling like therapy worked on them. Confession 1. I sometimes eat other people's snacks. Laughter. Confession 2. I lie about liking oat milk. More laughter. Then Maya smiled. That slow smile people do when they're about to set your house on fire. She looked at me and then said, "I guess I'll go next." She said, casually, "Sometimes. I feel like you're kind of unbearable. You act like you're better than everyone." The room went quiet. I laughed awkwardly. Because, we don't judge, right? Then someone else added, "Yeah, you're kinda controlling." Another voice, "You're always the victim." I sat there smiling, nodding, heart racing, thinking, wow, this is feedback. Growth. Adult friendship. I was so busy trying to be mature that I didn't notice Ethan wouldn't look at me. Maya sighed dramatically. "Since we're being honest." She turned the phone slightly, making sure it captured my face, and said, "I slept with Ethan." I laughed. Like, actually laughed. Because that's what your brain does when it can't process trauma fast enough. Then she added, "More than once. And honestly, he treated me better than you ever did." Silence. My ears rang. My hands went cold. Ethan finally spoke. "We didn't plan for you to find out like this." Oh, so there was a plan. The worst part wasn't the cheating. It was realizing everyone already knew. The side glances suddenly made sense. The jokes. The pity disguised as friendship. They weren't shocked. They were relieved. Because the truth was finally out and the entertainment had begun. That night, I went home alone. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I opened my notes app and wrote one sentence. If they think I'm unbearable now, they're going to hate who I become next. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was crying weirdly, I couldn't. My body felt hollow. Like someone had scooped everything important out of me and left muscle memory behind. So I did what any emotionally destroyed person does at 3:17 a.m. I replayed my entire life in reverse, hunting for red flags like a detective who suddenly realizes the killer was living in their house. And once I started seeing them, I couldn't unsee anything. The copying wasn't flattery, it was practice. Back to Maya. At first, she copied the small things. If I ordered vanilla, she ordered vanilla. If I said I loved a song, it became her song. If I posted something and it got attention, she reposted it with a slightly cooler caption. I told myself, friends influence each other. But influence doesn't explain why she once said, I wish I could just be you for a day. I released that awkward laugh one does when you don't know what to say. She didn't. I realized something awful. Maya didn't want what I had. She wanted to replace me. Same friend group. Same boyfriend. Same social circle. Same position. She didn't hate me because I was mean or arrogant or controlling. She hated me because I existed and people chose me without me trying. And that drove her insane. Ethan always said he felt safe with Maya. That sentence haunted me later. Because what he really meant was, she never expects anything of me. She laughed at his excuses. I questioned them. She admired his potential. I noticed his patterns. To him, Maya wasn't temptation. She was permission. There was the time she wore the same outfit as me to dinner, then joked. Great minds think alike. There was the way Ethan always defended her. She didn't mean it like that. You're being sensitive. She's just honest. Funny how honesty is only praised when it hurts you. There was the way she'd sit just a little too close to him. Her knee brushing his. Her hand lingering. I noticed. I swallowed it. Because I trusted both of them. That was my mistake. Thinking back to 2 months before the TikTok. I couldn't go out because I was sick. They all did. Ethan has always been part of the friend group. So it wasn't unusual that Ethan attended. Maya posted stories. Drinks. Laughter. Then I noticed something weird. Maya was wearing his gray hoodie. The one I bought him. I asked him later. He said, oh, Maya was cold. I lent it to her. I said, you never lend that hoodie to anyone. He shrugged. And I apologized. To him. Let that sink in. Here's something nobody tells you. Betrayal rarely happens in private. It happens with witnesses. Someone always knew. Someone always laughed. Someone always stayed quiet because drama is more entertaining than integrity. I realized later that my friends didn't just tolerate Maya. They fed her. Every time she complained about me. Every time she framed herself as misunderstood. Every time she cried about feeling second place. They validated her. They validated lying. They validated sleeping with my boyfriend. Because if they didn't, they'd have to admit they were terrible people too. After the TikTok, I didn't confront anyone. That shocked them. They expected tears. Screaming. Begging. Instead, I went silent. And silence makes guilty people uncomfortable. Maya messaged me. I hope you're okay. We never meant to hurt you. Never meant to hurt me. Like Daniel tripped and fell into her. I replied with one sentence. Don't worry. I'm fine. She left me on read. I stopped talking. And started collecting. Screenshots. Timelines. Messages that didn't quite make sense before. I checked dates. Locations. Money transfers Ethan had casually mentioned. I didn't know it yet, but I was standing at the edge of something much bigger than cheating. Something illegal. Something destructive. Something that would burn everything down. And the worst part? The match wasn't even in my hand yet. I didn't plan revenge. I planned truth. And truth has a funny way of destroying people who build their lives on lies. So I just followed the trail they were stupid enough to leave behind. Because cheaters always think they're clever. They're not. I didn't plan revenge. I planned truth. And truth has a funny way of destroying people who build their lives on lies. I just followed the trail they were stupid enough to leave behind. Because cheaters always think they're clever. They're not. They're just consistent. 3 days after the TikTok, Ethan texted me. Not an apology. Not remorse. But by mistake, Ethan, she's freaking out. You promised you wouldn't say anything online. I stared at the message. Then, oh shit, wrong chat. I read, then smiled. Because that message told me everything. There was a she. There was an agreement. And there was an online presence already planned. So I replied, say less. And then I blocked him. Here's a fun fact about people who cheat. They're careless with passwords. Ethan and I shared a cloud account for photos in case something happened to one of our phones. Romantic, right? I logged in. And that's when I found the folder. Named Moon. Creative. Inside? Hotel selfies. Videos. Voice notes. And then something I didn't expect. Screenshots of bank transfers. At first, I thought he was just bad with money. Then I noticed the pattern. Same amounts. Same timing. Always before trips. Always labeled things like client lunch, transport, office supplies. Ethan worked in finance. And those weren't personal transfers. They were company reimbursements. But before I could even process the fraud, I listened to a voice note. Maya's voice. Laughing. I swear, you should have picked me from the start. She's so heavy. Like, emotionally. Ethan replied, I know. You're just easier. Easier. That word sat in my chest like a brick. Here's where karma clocked in early. Maya went online. She couldn't help herself. She posted a soft life carousel on Instagram. Expensive restaurant. New bag. Hotel mirror selfie. Caption: when a man finally chooses peace over obligation, #healing, #chosen. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was the comment she replied to. Someone asked, how can you afford all this? Maya replied publicly with this exact sentence. Perks of dating someone who knows how to move money around, winking face. I screen recorded it. Twice. The connection clicked. I compared dates. Her posts. His reimbursements. Company financial reports. They lined up perfectly. Trips funded by client meetings. Gifts funded by office expenses. This wasn't an affair. It was embezzlement with benefits. The moment I stopped feeling bad, I sat there thinking, this man cried about his father's betrayal, about how cheating destroyed his family, about how many problems nearly broke his mother. And here he was. Cheating. Lying. Stealing. Laughing about it. No remorse. No shame. Just audacity. I stopped feeling hurt. I started feeling precise. What I did, quietly. I didn't expose anything yet. I archived. Every receipt. Every message. Every post. I downloaded everything. Backed it up. Labeled folders. I even wrote a timeline. Because if you're going to tell the truth, you tell it clearly. The post that ended everything, Maya confessed without realizing it. Maya couldn't stand not being the main character. That's important to understand. Silence eats people like her alive. If no one is watching, they start performing anyway. And she did. 2 weeks after the TikTok, Maya posted a Notes app screenshot on Instagram and TikTok. White background. Black text. Sad girl font energy. The post said exactly. I didn't steal anyone's man. I was chosen. People love to play victim when they ignore their partner and push them into someone else's arms. Sometimes men cheat because they finally feel seen, respected, and at peace. I won't apologize for loving someone who used his resources to show me what real love looks like. Growth hurts people who refuse to heal. She turned comments off. But the internet doesn't need permission. She thought she sounded empowered. What she actually did was admit the affair. Admit knowledge of his relationship. Admit benefiting from his resources. Admit zero remorse. And the phrase that mattered most? Used his resources. Not his money. Not his income. Resources. Finance people don't talk like that unless they're hiding something. The internet does its thing. Someone screen recorded it. Then someone stitched it. Then someone added captions like, girl just confessed to financial fraud? Not the embezzlement soft launch skull. We listen and we report to HR. I didn't post anything. I didn't need to. The comments ate her alive. Ethan panics. Ethan called me. For the first time since everything. Not to apologize. To manage damage. You need to tell her to delete that. I said calmly, why? He snapped, because she doesn't understand how serious this is. Oh, so now it's serious. I didn't respond to him. Instead, I sent one email. 1. To the company's compliance department. Subject line. Concern regarding expense reimbursements. Confidential. I attached screenshots of transfers. Dates matching company reports. Her post. His reimbursements labeled client expenses. No commentary. Just facts. Facts are terrifying. Maya messaged me that night. Paragraphs. Voice notes. Crying. I didn't know he was doing anything illegal. Why would you do this to me? I trusted you. Trusted me. The irony almost resurrected my soul. I replied, "You said we don't judge." "I'm just listening." She blocked me. By morning, Maya's account was private. Her post was gone. But consequences were already moving. Slow. Official. Unforgiving. Ethan didn't get fired immediately. That's not how companies like his work. First, they investigate. He received an email at 8:12 a.m. Subject: Notice of Internal Review. Expense reimbursements. No accusations. No emotions. Just procedure. He forwarded it to me. Yes, forwarded. With the message, "I think someone's trying to sabotage me." I didn't reply. People imagine investigations as dramatic. In reality, they're humiliating. Access revoked. Company laptop collected. Meetings scheduled without context. HR smiling too politely. Ethan was told not to contact anyone until further notice. Maya? Blocked. The friends? Suddenly busy. Funny how fast people disappear when you're no longer useful. Here's what the company saw very clearly. Expense claims labeled client meetings with no clients listed. Hotel stays during weekends. Receipts from cities where no company events occurred. Transfers matching the exact dates of Maya's posts. And then, Maya's words used his resources. That sentence followed him into every meeting. The interview that broke him. Ethan was interviewed twice. The second time lasted 3 hours. He tried to explain. Tried to minimize. Tried to blame stress. That afternoon, he was placed on paid suspension pending outcome. He called me crying. Real crying. Not the performative kind. I never meant for it to go this far. I said nothing, because intent doesn't undo theft. 9 days later, it ended. No meeting. No debate. Just another email. Subject: Outcome of internal review. He was terminated effective immediately. Reasons cited: misuse of company funds, falsification of expense reports, breach of ethical conduct. They requested repayment. They reserved the right to pursue further action. His professional reputation done. A week later, I received a message from Ethan's mother. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. It was long and emotional. It read, "I hope this message doesn't cause you more pain than you've already endured. My son told me what he did. About the affair. About the lies. About the way you were humiliated instead of respected. I am deeply sorry. I did not raise him to betray someone who trusted him, nor to take what wasn't his, emotionally or otherwise. I know apologies don't fix damage like this, but I couldn't stay silent knowing the harm he caused you. Please know that his actions do not reflect the values I tried to instill in him. You deserved honesty. You deserved dignity. And you deserved better." I read it 3 times. Then I cried. Not because I missed Ethan, but because someone finally acknowledged the wrong without excuses. She never said the words disowned or cut off. She didn't need to. The tone told me everything. Ethan was raised by a single mother and was abandoned by his father after his father's affair was exposed and ran away with the family saving, and his mother had to work overtime, not only to cover expenses, but debts left by Ethan's father. Her message expressed her disappointment in the son. She didn't expect such betrayal from. Then Elle realized she wasn't apologizing for him. She was apologizing for herself. For raising someone who repeated the exact betrayal that had once destroyed her own life. And that realization hit harder than anger ever could. After everything had blown up, everyone expected a response. A TikTok. A Notes app screenshot. A public dragging. I gave them nothing. Because silence is terrifying when you're guilty. Instead, I let the internet chew on what they had already said. I never corrected the narrative. Never defended myself. People filled in the gaps accurately. Everyone thinks the story ends when the cheaters get exposed. It doesn't. That's just where the noise stops. What came after was quieter and heavier. I don't trust easily anymore. Not because I'm bitter, but because I learned how effortlessly people can smile while planning your humiliation. I listen more than I speak now. I notice patterns. I keep parts of myself locked away that I used to give freely. Not because I'm cold, but because warmth used to cost me everything. I don't fear being alone. I fear believing someone loves me, only to realize I was just convenient. Still, I wake up every day choosing peace over proximity, boundaries over bonding, healing over history. And maybe one day, I'll let someone close again. But this time, they won't meet the old version of me. They'll meet the one who survived and knows exactly what she's worth.